So for young people, you know, my serious advice is we have to become a little more serious. So there's two sides of it, the parent side and the youth side. For young people, my advice is become a little more strict. And for the parents, my advice is become a little less strict. Like, we've got an imbalanced situation here. We've got youth that have no guidelines and no restrictions. Nothing's wrong, everything's permissible, like Assassin's Creed or something, right? It's like that. And on the other side, you've got parents that are way too strict and they're unrealistic in their strictness. And so we're choking our own community in this way, subhanAllah. This should not be happening. Now, those of you that are married people, show of hands. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay, good. Married people that are here, part of your job is to help young people get married, especially the younger couples here. Younger couples here, you both, you know, the men and the women in that couple, they have friends that aren't married that they've known for a while. And you need to become matchmakers before they have to resort to anonymous websites, which the same guy is on every website. He's got his profile on every single website. Everybody knows him, you know. Because one of my friends got married, he had his profile on like 30 Muslim matrimonial sites. And he asked me to speak at his wedding. And I was like, the internet will not be the same anymore. The internet connection speeds just increased because so much load has been taken offline with all of these profiles. You know, servers that were crashing for ages are now back up online now because, you know, congratulations, you're married. And I, you know, because I'm pretty cruel in my marriage talks, so I told him, by the way, every sister in the hall that's not married knows everything about you. Your height, where you worked, your favorite color, because, yeah, they've been to those websites, so, mashallah. So, you know, I'm not against the online thing. I'm really not. It's a reality. If you don't have any connections, what are you going to do? But be careful about it. Don't look for just the shallow, you know, criteria. Look for something more meaningful. You're looking for someone you're going to live with the rest of your life. And for those of you younger girls that are being forced by their parents to marry their cousin from Bangladesh, those of you that are being forced to marry, and they're being told you have to marry this person. Okay, what about this one? And we brought another one, and we brought another one. And they just keep getting uglier for some reason. I don't know what it is, but they keep getting uglier. And the pressure is mounting on you because you're reaching the cultural expiration date. Let me tell you something very strictly, very seriously. If you don't open your mouth, and clearly say, this is not how I want to live. This is not going to be the next 50 years of my life. This is not what I want to do. If you don't open your mouth and say, I shouldn't say anything, it's buri baat hoti hai. My parents would understand. No, families will not resolve issues until you openly talk. I'm not talking about yelling and screaming, but you have to be open and clear and let your parents know this is not how it's going to go. It's not disrespectful. And parents, please listen to this. Please listen to this. Don't force your daughters into a marriage they're not happy with. Don't say on their behalf, no, she's happy. We know her. You don't know her. You don't know her. She's not happy. You're just saying that because I'm asking. No, she's okay. They don't know that they come crying to the imams, my father wants me to marry, I guess I should. Have you seen the guy? No, but it's my parents, what can I do? In Islam, you have to obey your parents no matter what. Yes, in Islam, you have to obey your parents no matter what. But also in Islam, parents cannot be unjust. They don't have an open license to do whatever they want. They don't have that either. In Islam, parents and children are supposed to have a trusting relationship, you know? Don't hijack. You know, sometimes the only ayat our parents know is وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. This is the only Quran. They don't even know the whole ayah. No, just وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. You know, you're like, got me again. And they use that card. Look, our deen emphasizes the rights of parents more than any other religion known to man. More than any other religion. But our religion also emphasizes fairness and mas'uliyah, the idea of responsibility. Like parents do not get that many rights without having that many responsibilities. And you have responsibilities to your daughters and your sons. You really, really do. Your homework assignment after this lecture, you know what it is? An open, honest, brave conversation with your parents about when you think you should be married, why you think you should be married, what kind of person you think you should marry, and parents, don't flip out. Don't flip out. And young men, and this is my last piece, inshallah I have a minute 20, I just want to talk to the young men. I talked to the girls a little bit. get brave. Don't be shy anymore. Just be a little stronger. But for the young men, can you become men? For God's sake. Listen. If you're like in your 20s, and every time you have a break, every time you have time off from school or a weekend off, you're spending it behind a screen with a PlayStation 3 or a 4 or an Xbox or whatever else, then you're not a man yet. Go, first of all, get a job even while you're in high school and college. I don't care. Get a job. It'll turn you into a man. It'll make you ready for marriage. Just because you find girls pretty doesn't mean you're ready to get married. That doesn't mean that. You have to show some responsibility to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And parents of teenage children, if you're not pushing your children to do work, you're like, Alhamdulillah, I can afford it. I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a business owner. I can afford it, my children don't have to work. Yes, they do, because it's part of their education. I don't care if you're like changing tires at a car shop, at a mechanic shop. I don't care if you're lawn mowing, but do work. It will give you respect for money. It gives you respect and responsibility. It prepares you for life. I made a case to my parents when I was 20 years old. I'm Pakistani. You know that's suicide, right? I made a case to my parents when I was 20 that I want to get married. But you know what? I had been working 40 hours a week since I was 16 in New York City. I've never worked less than 40 hours a week. That was an easy week for me. And I've been going full-time to college, in high school. I actually took a longer time to graduate out of college because I had work. I never once took money from my parents for college tuition. I refused that. I said, no way. If I can't afford it, I'm not going to college. I'll work on it myself. I worked in shoe stores. I worked in surgical places. I worked in like local Queens newspapers. I've done all kinds of crazy jobs. I even worked at a Desi grocery store. Ew. Oh my God. Blech. But I worked there for 1 day, but I did, and I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it. I worked at a travel agency where my boss was a really mean Bangladeshi fellow. I love Bangladeshis, but he was really mean. He was really I used to call him the travel Nazi. He was really bad. And when I didn't make enough sales that day, he just yelled at me. So one day I just had it. I yelled back at him, and I got fired, And like 10 years later, I was giving khutbah in Long Island, and he was in the first row. And I have a beard now. He didn't have a beard back then, and he recognized me too. He's like, and after the Jummah, everybody says, Assalamu alaikum, Ustadh Nouman, how are you? Make dua for my children. He comes and he shakes my hand, he gives me a hug, he goes, you are still useless. So I was like, right? I was like, I know. But you know why I'm telling you this? I'm telling you this because there's no shame in working. It's part of what makes you who you are. I got married at the age of 22, but I can argue I had a right to. I was on my own for quite some time. I was taking care of my own responsibilities, And if you're doing that, then don't expect the highest things. And my in-laws are crazy. They're just crazy. I got married 6 months after I got laid off. I didn't have a job and I got married. Because they didn't, I know. Okay, intaha al-waqt. I didn't get married because I had the money. I got married because my in-laws felt that I was good for it. That was it. I could prove myself to them. That's all it was there. So look for that in a son. Look for that in the boys. May Allah Azza wa Jal turn our young men into real men that can carry household responsibilities and really become good husbands to the sisters that are here that are looking to get married. May Allah Azza wa Jal find all of our young singles. May Allah Azza wa Jal help all of them find the appropriate couple, the appropriate spouse that will give them a happy married life. May Allah also help all of the divorced people here get remarried and get remarried quickly, inshallah ta'ala. As I conclude, I have a